Okay, I want you to pause the video and try doing these 3 problems first by looking at this graph right here. So pause the video right now. All right, so when does the maximum occur? This is talking about the time. So the maximum is right here, and the time is 3. And I'm assuming it's seconds, it doesn't say, and usually it will say. What is the maximum height of the ball? So now we're talking about the actual height of the ball. So we're talking about here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9, and I'm assuming feet, meters, we don't know, but let's just assume a unit, feet. When does the ball return to the ground? So returning to the ground would be right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At 6 seconds. Okay, so you have to be very careful. The point of this is be careful if it says when versus what is the height. Okay, so the Great Zamboni is shot out of a cannon into the air. His height in feet t seconds later is given by the equation h of t equals negative 16 t squared plus 32. Sketch a graph. So, now, when you sketch the graph, you only have to draw the first quadrant, and it wants us to label the x and y axis. Your x-axis is always going to be your time. Your y-axis is always going to be your height. Okay? Now, our y-intercept, there is no y-intercept. This is a regular quadratic, right? If our y-intercept is 0, that means it's starting right here at 0. And it has a negative a value, so that means it's going down like that, and it's going to hit there. Now, yeah, the quadratic would technically continue down like this, but we don't really care about that because if it did continue down, this would go into negative time and negative height, and same thing, negative height. So that doesn't really make sense in the actual context of the problem, so we're not concerned about that. All right, so for what value of time t is the height of the Zamboni equal to 0? So you're going to set this equation, h of t equals negative 16t squared plus 32t. We're looking for the time, and they give us that the height is 0. So instead of height, we're going to put in 0. So now we're just solving quadratic. Factor the GCF out. And our GCF is negative 16t, so then we get t minus 2. Set each of those factors equal to 0 and solve. So you're going to get t equals 0 and t equals 2. So what is happening? When t is 0, if you take a look at our graph up here, when t is 0, that's where the Zamboni is starting. And when t is 2, that's where he's landing. These are the 2 points when our height is 0. Alright? When does Zamboni reach his maximum height? Now his maximum height is right here. That's also our vertex. So we can figure out where the vertex is by using opposite of b over 2a. Remember this? So opposite of b would be negative 32 over 2 times negative 16 equals negative 32 over negative 32 equals 1. Now what I just found was the x value of the vertex. X is X is referring to the time, so it's asking when, so that right there is 1 second. Now it's saying what is the maximum height? So our vertex, we found that it's at 1 comma something. We have to plug 1 in to figure out where and how high it goes. So we're going to plug h of 1, negative 16 times 1 squared plus 32 times 1. So we're going to get negative 16 plus 32, which is negative 16. I'm sorry, 16. Wow. 16. So it goes up to 16. So we go to 16 feet. All right. Let's move on to the next one. Feel free to pause anytime, go back, rewatch. Construction workers on the 24th floor of a building that is 235 feet high and accidentally drops a wrench and yells, "Look up below." The height of the wrench after t seconds was given by this equation. All right, now this time, do we have a y-intercept? Yes, 235, and we see that here in the equation. That's our y-intercept. We also see it in the problem. It says he starts at 235 feet. So 235, he kind of throws it. Well, drops it, whatever. Right? If we were to label this, this would be our height. This would be our time. All right. What is the height of the wrench after 1 second of falling? All that's asking is 1 second is referring to the time. So plug 1 in for t. So you get negative 16 times 1 squared plus 235. H of 1 is negative 16 plus 235. And we're going to pull out a calculator here. And we're going to get that it is 219. So the height of 1 second, remember our function notation is 219. 219 what? 219 feet. What is the height of the wrench after 2 seconds? H of 2 equals, we're going to plug 2 in, negative 16, 2 squared plus 235. So H of 2 equals, let's see, negative 16 times 4 plus 234. Oh, 235. 171. 171 feet. And if we wanted to, we could plot these points, right? After 1 second, he'd be here at 219. And after 2 seconds, he'd be here at 171. All right. How many seconds does it take for the wrench to hit the ground? So hit the ground, that means that the height is 0. So we're going to set the height equal to 0. And you're going to get negative 16 t squared plus 235. Subtract over. So we're going to get 16t squared equals 235. Divide by 16. T squared equals 14.6875. And so t, take the square root of that. And you get 3.83. 3.83 what? We're looking for seconds. 3.83 seconds. So right here is 3.83. That's where he hits the ground. All right. It takes you 2.5 seconds to move. Will you be hit by the falling wrench? So it hits the ground after 3.83 seconds. And if you can move in less time, then no, you will not be hit by the falling wrench. Some important things to know. Time is always on the x-axis. When does the maximum occur? That's asking for the x value of the vertex. Right? If we have our parabola, it looks like that, and it wants to know when, it's asking for the x value right here, because this is time. So it's asking for the x value of the vertex. You can always find your x value of the vertex by opposite of b over 2a. And then the maximum height would be plugging that in. So you're going to plug in to find the y value of the vertex. And if it says something like the height, so if it says something about the height of the ground, if it hits the ground, that means the height is 0. Okay? I would like you to pause and go ahead and try number 3. And I will actually just post my answers for number 3 onto the topics page. So I'd like you to check that. I won't be continuing the video. I want you to try it on your own. Talk with the people around you if you need. Good luck.